Donald Trump, the candidate, conducted a successful campaign all the way to the White House without ever revealing to the public his tax returns. Now, we know today just as much or as little as we knew a year ago about the man who is now the U.S. president. Well, Nicholas Shaxson is a tax haven journalist and author who has written about presidential candidates and their wealth, such as the Republican candidate Mitt Romney. Now, Shaxson is one of the few people who's actually interviewed Trump about his wealth, his businesses, and his tax history. Last summer, in a Vanity Fair article about Trump's finances, Shaxson wrote, "Some might say that Trump's single-minded pursuit of money is just a red-blooded example of the American way. Whether or not this is so, his may not be the qualities that one seeks in a president. The president has a duty of loyalty and care to the United States," said Susan Pace Hamill, a professor at the University of Alabama School of Law and Honors College and an expert in tax avoidance for small businesses. He goes on to write, "He or she is a fiduciary to the public. Donald Trump is a deal maker for himself. There is not a fiduciary bone in his body. This is generally acceptable in the rough and tumble world of business, but is not remotely in the universe of what we want out of a public official." Nicholas Shaxson joins me now at the big table. It's good to have you back on the show, Nicholas.
Good to talk to you.
When we see that, what was written there, now he's president, the public trust, what happens to that moving forward?
Well, I think he's got a lot of questions to answer that. I mean, he has a lot of his wealth comes from, in one way or another, milking government. Not just he milked the tax system, that's for sure. But also, I went to Scotland and I looked at the stuff he was doing there. He has a wonderful, beautiful golf course that, he's steamrolled over a lot of environmentally beautiful places in this golf course. But how he obtained this very, very valuable position was by effectively smashing open this very small political system in this part of Scotland.
You mean, is that milking the tax system?
No. In Scotland, he basically bullied and blustered his way into getting permission to build a golf course on an extremely highly protected environmental site. And so it's just another example of his using government to make money. And so he now has a very, very valuable golf course. He may build a lot of stuff on it after he's president. But he is in many senses a creature of government in this. A
creature of government, although today he talked about how bad the government has treated the people. Since you were on the show last summer, a lot has happened. We've had a lot of suspicions that have arisen about Trump's connections with Russia, financing possibly by the oligarchs there, by old Soviet money. Have you changed your mind at all about Donald Trump since you wrote that article last summer?
No, I mean, I think these things have continued to mount up. There's a very interesting article in the American Interest magazine at the moment by James Henry that is really tying a lot of Donald Trump's wealth to the phenomenon of capital flight from Russia. So huge, from the former Soviet Union, so Russia, Ukraine, Kazakhstan. So when you're a real estate investor, they talk about other people's money. You're getting other people to come and invest in your stuff, and you make profits out of that. And the game is to attract money, and you can get huge amounts of money flooding in from these places. And so there's a lot of stories of money coming in through various routes into Trump properties. And so he's profited hugely from that. And in the process of that, a huge number of questions and very questionable deals have been unearthed.
Well, they've been unearthed, but nothing has pulled him down. And now he's president. Can you imagine, because we're running out of time here, but can you imagine that something could come out about his finances? And what about those tax returns? When do you think we'll ever see those?
Yeah, I mean, he promised, he said they're under audit and I can't release them yet. And, I doubt very much. He's got away with so much that presumably he can get away with not releasing. I don't expect he's going to release his tax returns. There could be all sorts of stuff on there which would generate another load of questions. But he's got this one. No other presidential candidate in history would have got a quarter of as far as he did with these questions hanging over him. Yeah. So who knows how far he can go and what can come out and he can survive. The
story has long legs, and they haven't even started running yet, I have a feeling. Nicholas Shaxson, thank you for coming on today. Come back. I think we'll have another reason to talk very soon. Thank you.